It's just about halfway through the 2018 legislative session, so today we're taking you inside the Capitol to meet some of the men and women representing you in South Washington County. I'm John Lixet, and this is On the Hill. We begin the show by meeting up with the representatives from District 53. First off, we have Senator Susan Kent in the middle of her second term in office.
My name is Susan Kent, and I am the state senator for Senate District 53. I represent the entire city of Woodbury, plus the southern parts of Maplewood and Oakdale and Landfall. My background's in marketing and communications. I had taken a few years off when my son was little, and I was going to go back when he went back to school, as many moms do. As a parent, I had gotten involved in our PTSO in my son's school, and then I got involved in some local education issues. And that was the time right after the recession had hit, and it was affecting school funding. And I don't know if you remember, there was the big shift of school funds to try to balance the budget. And I, like so many people, just said, wait a minute, this isn't how Minnesota does things. We can't balance our budget on the backs of our kids. We have to make schools more of a priority. And that's essentially why I ran. It's worked out really well for me and my family, and just an incredible privilege to serve. The issue that I am most proud of, because it really was something that I took on myself, was to bring in more student support services personnel into our schools. And that's a category that includes our school counselors and our psychologists and our social workers and nurses and chemical dependency counselors. We don't have the normal, 5-day a week, Monday through Friday kind of schedule. I always say it's way more than full-time when we're in session. And it's a pretty serious part-time job even when we're not in session. We're going to city council meetings or school board meetings. We're meeting with constituents. We're working on bills. It's a really great time to attend different events surrounding other issues that you don't normally get to work on during session. I did not grow up thinking I was going to run for office. I did not plan to do this. When I was knocking on doors in 2012, I always told people, I'm too old to be a career legislator, So I came into this with fresh eyes as a former business owner and someone coming from the private sector, and as a parent and a member of the community. And I'm so grateful to have the chance to see up close and personal our state government at work. Our legislators, our elected officials are really, from both parties all over the state, very committed, dedicated, hardworking people. I love for people to contact me. Obviously, people can come to my office. We're on the website. I love that the Minnesota legislature has two great websites, senate.mn and house.mn, so it's always easy to find us that way.
Thank you, Senator Kent. Kelly Fenton has represented District 53B since 2014. We sat down to chat with her a little bit about what drew her to public service.
My name is Kelly Fenton, and I'm State Representative for House District 53B in Woodbury. Because of something that my son said on his first trip home after heading off to college, and he said to me, Mom, my friends and I have been talking, and we think this is as good as it's ever going to get, that we'll never have it better than you. And I thought, these kids are young, they should be so excited for their future and for the plethora of opportunities. When this seat became an open seat, that was all I heard in the back of my head is, Mom, this is as good as it's going to get. I've been here in Minnesota now for 25 years. I took time off to raise my family. Once I got here, I did a lot of volunteering in the schools. My kids got into grade school and whatnot. I also was a substitute teacher here in Minnesota. I also worked with a leadership program, Minnesota Excellence in Public Service Series. I was actually accepted as a fellow in this program. The program had 3 goals: to run a campaign, to run for office yourself, or to seek a leadership position in your community or within government. After I graduated from that program, I then went on the board and I served as a board member, as the vice president and the president of the program. I'm not the only assistant majority leader, but there is a team of us, and we work with the speaker and the majority leader on many of the decisions that do get made, and we meet twice a week at a minimum on decisions moving forward, and then we also keep in contact with the other members as we represent them when we're in these meetings as well. There are some things that happen outside of the legislature, like speaking at various events and representing the leadership back here. I love representing the people of Woodbury, and I love working with people. That's the greatest part of this job, are the numbers of people, numbers of constituents that I get to meet on a day-to-day basis. But to walk through the Capitol, and especially now under the newly renovated Capitol, and it just sparkles, and every time I walk in there, I realize what a great honor it is to have been selected by the people of Woodbury to represent them. I do plan to run for a third term. There's still much work to do. I've had great success with having great legislation signed into law by our governor. I have pieces that I'm working on this year that I think will make it all the way. And there's more work to be done, and I look forward to rolling up my sleeves and continuing to work for the people of Woodbury and for the great state of Minnesota.
Thank you, Representative Fenton. If you tuned into last month's show, you probably saw that our next guest announced that she won't be seeking a fourth term. Let's hear more from Representative Joanna Ward.
I'm Joanna Ward, and I'm the House Representative from District 53A. My background includes conflict management, organization development, restorative justice, lots of ways of getting people to be in positive, constructive relationships and work together. Everybody is here to do good work. Nobody comes here to do bad stuff, but they often disagree on what's good and what's bad. And when those conversations would play out in ways that contributed to the public's perception of dysfunction, I said, why are we doing this? Why are we antagonizing each other? Why are we working so hard against each other? Why aren't we figuring out how to work together? And the response was, things don't work that way around here. Never have, never will. And my response is, why not? The Civility Caucus and developing that and really getting buy-in from everybody. We're getting more and more people at every event, and we have an event every 2 weeks, getting more and more people who are interested and committed and wanting to give it a try. In the summer of 2013, so after my first session, National Conference of State Legislators met in St. Paul, and so that was easy for me to go to that conference. And I met some people there who were beginning to form the National Institute for Civil Discourse. And I joined with them and am now a trainer with them. So I will go to other states and help them work with legislative bodies, House, Senate, bipartisan, bicameral, to develop some skills and approaches to be better and more effective. And I will come back here and do it here as well. It's been an honor to be able to actually do some things for people. When constituents call and say, I'm having trouble with this, if things aren't working well, or they haven't gotten their taxes back, they haven't been able to get, some agencies' work hasn't come through well for them. And I've been able to actually do something, and that's something we all get to do. And so it's been very rewarding in so many ways.
Thank you, Representative Ward. We've got more from the state capitol and our conversations with legislators right after this.
As a rural EMT, I've heard all of the excuses for not calling 911 at the first sign of stroke.
It's probably nothing. I can't afford an ambulance ride.
I don't want to create a scene.
But stroke can happen to anyone at any time.
Remember to act fast. If someone's face, arm, or speech is drifting, then time is of the essence.
Please call 911.
It's better to be safe than sorry.
Hello.
Hi, Justin. How are you today?
Great. How are you doing?
Good. Anything new going on around town lately?
Well, St. Paul Park Fire Department is hiring for paid on-call firefighters.
Wow, I'll have to tell my niece about it. I bet you she'd be really interested.
Hi. Can I rent some skates?
Oh, hey, it's Justin.
It's me.
So what do you know?
Well, I do know that Woodbury is going to have a busy season with road projects. Check out the city's website for more information.
Okay. Here are your skates.
Well, hello, and thank you for stopping at Junction 70. What can I do for you today?
Hi.
Well, hi, Justin. How are you? Are you looking forward to summer?
I am, because Cottage Grove Strawberry Festival will be held in June at Kingston Park. There'll be rides, food, and the parade.
Well, that's an interesting answer. What can I do for you for lunch today? Oh, Justin, how you doing there?
Hi, I'm doing great because Newport announced they're holding their Booyah this summer. So grab your crock pots to get ready for some delicious stew.
Oh yeah, that's a lot of fun there.
Yeah.
You won't have to bother Justin to get your local information. Just tune into the Weekly Wire with new episodes beginning every Friday. Watch it on SWCTC Channel 16 and 18. You can watch episodes on demand on our social media pages and at swctc.org.
Welcome back. Next, we head south to District 54 and meet up with their Senator, Karla Begum.
My name is Karla Begum, and I'm the Minnesota State Senator for Senate District 54. Represent Cottage Grove, Newport, St. Paul Park, Great Cloud Island, Denmark Township, Afton, Hastings, Nininger Township, and South St. Paul. I started out at age 25 as a Cottage Grove City Council member, and then a couple years into that, the House seat in the area opened up, and so I ran and won for the Minnesota State House, served there for 4 years, then retired, and a couple years after that, ran and won for the Washington County Commissioner spot before becoming the Minnesota State Senator.
And the Constitution of the state of Minnesota.
You know, I don't recognize this place anymore after 8 years being gone, and it's really partisan and it's purposefully injected into the system, and that has to stop. There's no reason that issues such as clean drinking water, IT, MNLARS, the computer system for vehicle registration should not be partisan. Transportation, healthcare, education should not be partisan. And for it to be purposefully done that way is upsetting, and it is not what the residents want. And so I'm going to keep speaking up when I see it and making sure that we work together on issues that we can move forward for Minnesota to make it stronger and sustainable. And that's our goal here. It should be about what's best for Minnesota. I'd like to get more involved in is how do we meet the needs of the workforce, looking at the upcoming needs of our businesses and how our diverse workforce will play into that. Looking at how we can have a long-term funding solution, stable funding solution for education. It's a big deal in our district. Obviously, a long-term transportation bill is key for our area with our needs, our growing community. Roads need to be repaired. We do need all-day bus service in our area, and we do not have that, and that helps bring people to and from work. And if you talk to our businesses, they talk a lot about that. This is a big, beautiful building here, the Capitol, and I really encourage our residents and citizens to come on out, take a tour of the Capitol, stop by and see me. I'm in the Senate building. It is just a tremendous area up here, the Capitol complex. Bring your kids, bring your classes, bring your Boy Scout and Girl Scout groups. Come on out and see us, see how this goes, see the process, and make sure you stop by and say hi.
Thank you, Senator Begum. Keith Frankie was the mayor of St. Paul Park before he ran for the House of Representatives. Here's more.
Hi, my name is Keith Frankie. I'm the state representative for District 54A. I represent South St. Paul, Newport, St. Paul Park, Cottage Grove, and Great Cloud Island Township. I first got elected in the 2016 November election. I wanted to run because I found something that I'm passionate about. I found something that I felt that I had the ability to do and make a difference for our communities and bring a voice of reason, I was hoping, as a former mayor, and having the ability to work collectively with everybody just to come up with common, no-nonsense solutions to problems. Once I did that, I found another passion and an ability that I had to make a difference up here. So I really feel that this is something that I've become to find that is very enjoyable for me, that I definitely am very passionate about. I'm very proud of the fact that as a freshman, I've been able to get some good bills done. I got a bill passed to help with expansion of the GI Bill, which helps our current serving Minnesota Guard members and veterans and their ability to use their GI funds for education and use those in different areas to further their abilities. The strategic plan to end the spread of HIV and AIDS was the first bill I ever got passed. Not only does that help save lives, but it helps direct financing and funding to better come up with solutions to save those lives and to help save the taxpayers' dollars. This year, I'm really proud of the fact of the things that I'm working on around addiction. Some of the things that I'm doing around distracted driving. We've all become so connected to our cell phones. It has become, almost an epidemic. The amount of crashes that are happening are starting to surpass DWIs because of inattentive, distracted driving due to cell phone use. So it's definitely something that I feel we need to get through this year. Some of the things that I've tried to champion as things that I felt were needed and that I had the ability to accomplish. So I try to be a little bit choosy with the bills that I carry or the proposals I put forward. What do I find most challenging about working at the Capitol? The partisan politics. But I try to reach out, make those connections. As they say, work across the aisle. I hopefully can earn the respect or understanding with everybody around me with my ability to at least explain my side and to have a willingness to listen to their side. So sometimes those challenges are there, but as long as you're open and straightforward, I think those challenges can be overcome. I just want citizens to know that if you ever have a situation or a question, feel free to reach out to me. Send us an email, give us a call. I just want people to know that we're up here doing the work, and I'm just grateful and thankful to be here doing it for you.
Thank you, Representative Frankie. Our final guest has a long history of public service. Meet Tony Jergens.
I'm Tony Jergens. I'm the state representative for District 54B. I've lived in Cottage Grove for 25 years, so I've been involved with volunteering in Cottage Grove and Hastings for a number of years. In Cottage Grove, I was on the Economic Development Authority for about 10 years. I chaired the Public Works Commission. I was on the Washington County Library Board. Different boards and commissions, when things would come up, when one would end, I would look to see if there was something else that was available. Another board that needed a membership, and so if it was something I was interested in, I would apply for it. When the opportunity came up to run for the House of Representatives, it's something that I had thought about doing sometime in the future, but I didn't know when the future would be. And when the opportunity came up, I thought, well, if I'm ever going to do it, I guess now's the time to do it. Different bills will come up, and it'll remind me of something that I worked on as a member of the Economic Development Authority or as chair of the Public Works Commission. They do translate. All of that does help, just like job experiences do and life experiences do. Those all come into play when you're dealing with issues all across the board here at the state. Geographically, I think I have one of the most diverse districts in the state. You've got Afton, which is a small river town on the St. Croix. A lot of history there, farming communities in Denmark Township and Nininger Township. Hastings, of course, is an old historical city. In Cottage Grove, there are some older portions of Cottage Grove, but for the most part, it's a suburb that grew up, and it's not a lot older than I am. People that I've met in and around the district has just been amazing, and people that come in here every day to meet with their representatives and with different affiliations, different associations and groups. I've said many times that I get the opportunity to do some really cool things in this job, and when I can share that with others, with constituents, especially kids, I love doing it. It's the best part of the job. I try to be out and involved in the community when I can. If people have questions, if they have concerns, reach out to me. rep.tony.jergens@house.mn.
As we near the end of the 2018 session, you can stay up to date with what's happening on the Hill by visiting the Minnesota State Legislature's website. I'm John Lixet. We'll see you next time.